Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Camp Dread. So, it's still the summer, we got a little bit of summer left before fall rolls around, so I thought, what the heck, let me knock out another summer themed slasher movie. You got to. It's essential. I mean, it's just a necessary part of summer. It's like going to the beach. It's like going to the pool. You got to watch some summertime slashers. All right, it's a tradition. So not I'm not reviewing a big name summer themed slasher like Friday the 13th or Sleepaway Camp. Today I'm going to be talking about Camp Dread, which is you know it's a lesser known slasher movie, super low budget. I've seen this once before, and I'm just gonna give you all my thoughts right off the bat. I enjoy this movie. It is super duper low budget, so going in, you gotta know that. So it's not gonna stack up to the big boys, but for what it is, I think it's a really fun time. It's a really fun summertime slasher, and it's a pretty decent low budget slasher. So yeah, I'm a fan of this movie. First things first, I want to get into some familiar faces in the cast. So if you're a horror fan, I think you should check this out, at least just to see some familiar faces. So you got Danielle Harris, straight up ledge right there, talking about Halloween 4, Halloween 5, the Hatchet movies. She's been in countless other stuff. I love Danielle Harris. Like Halloween 4, that's one of my favorite Halloween films in the entire franchise. Like that's probably the one I watch the most. Like I think the first one is the best film in the franchise, but I probably watched the fourth one the most. I love the fourth one. And I know people hate on Halloween 5, but guess what? I love that movie, alright? I mean, I understand it's got countless problems. It's got all kinds of problems. But I grew up watching Halloween 5. I think it really like nails the fall atmosphere, kind of like feels like the harvest season. And I don't know. I like the whole Thorn trilogy. Part 4, 5, and 6 are my jam. So I'm going off on a tangent there, but yeah, Halloween 5 rocks. If you don't like it, I can understand why it has a ton of problems, but that's some people's least favorite in the franchise. That's like honestly one of my favorites. I probably just lost like some subscribers right there, but hey, it is what it is. Different strokes for different folks. If you don't like it, cool. If you like it, cool. But you know, I'm a huge fan of Danielle Harris. I mean, she's Jamie from Halloween 4 and 5. Come on, iconic. So it's cool to see her. Oh yeah, I forgot she's in the Rob Zombie Halloweens too. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 I like. I don't like the first Rob Zombie Halloween, but Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 I like, and she's good in those. So I keep getting off topic, but you got Danielle Harris in here. Don't get your hopes up though, cause Danielle Harris is barely in the movie. She's in the movie like a little bit in the beginning, a little bit in the end, and she just plays this police officer, and she's has a couple scenes where she's like talking to this movie director who's one of the main characters, and then another familiar face, my homegirl Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp is in this. I mean, what more do I have to say? She's been in a bunch of stuff. She was in a Hatchet film too. She was in Victor Crowley, which that movie's pretty tight. So I mean, she's been in countless stuff over the years. Felissa Rose, she's been in everything. But like this movie is like one of the best Felissa Rose movies. That's not Sleepaway Camp. This movie is super solid, and like I think she does like very well in it. Danielle Harris does well in it too. But I just wanted to talk about that first things first. Like, those two actresses I absolutely love. Like, I love, some of the really popular movies that they're in. Of course, Halloween 4 and 5 and Sleepaway Camp. And I like some of their more obscure stuff also. So, super cool to see them. I feel like they did super well in this movie. Moving on here. Okay, it's a slasher movie. So we got to talk about the kills. Um, the kills in this, like the actual effects for what the movie was, like I said, it's super low budget. The effects were not bad. They're not gonna knock your socks off. No, they're not gonna knock your socks off. They're not like, the best practical effects ever, or they're not the goriest, most inventive kills ever. But I think they're very serviceable, very decent. Some of the kills are amazing. Like, there's like Felissa Rose's kill in this is super cool. Like, I haven't seen anything like it in another slasher movie. Um, it's like, it's really good, but I mean, I feel like it doesn't get talked about in like lists of like best kills, because this is like, nobody knows about this movie. Um, but yeah, one like I said, the kills they're serviceable. They're, pretty decent. Nothing crazy, but something that I like about the kills is that there's a good variety of kills. So, that's a problem that I have with like a lot of slasher movies, is like stab, stab, oh, stabbed in the neck, stabbed in the arm, stabbed in the leg, stabbed in the neck again. You know, I mean, I'm not trying to hate on this series, but like, I feel like the Scream movies, I haven't seen the new ones, but like Scream 1 through 4, like the kills, it's just like stab, 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 stab. And I love those movies, so I'm not trying to hate. Huge Scream fan. But that's I'm not trying to pick on Scream. There's a lot of slasher movies like that where it's just like someone gets stabbed, oh, they're getting stabbed again, you know? But this movie has a great variety of kills. I think every single person gets killed in a different way. Like, some notable kills, like this one guy gets an arrow through the eye, like through the head. This one guy who has a prosthetic leg, he gets like beaten to death with his prosthetic leg. This one girl gets like tied up and thrown in the lake. There's this kid who he's like the comic relief basically. He gets like tied up to a tree and like choked with barbed wire. That's really good. And then gotta get into Felissa Rose's kill. Her kill is the best in the movie. The killer like puts this like industrial grade cleaning product like down her throat, and it's like must be like acidic or something. It just like burns through her throat, and you see all these like little holes in her throat, and it's like oozing like pus and like oozing fluid. It's like gross. Like, I mean, I watch a lot of horror movies, but like that, it like legit made me like cringe. Like, it's like, ooh, I'm just like, oh geez, like, oh, that looks rough, dude. So it like, not only is like the concept scary and inventive, like the actual like imagery is just like, oh, it's just hard to, like, it's really well done, like the effects, like it looks good. So that's the best kill in the movie, Felissa Rose's kill. And then I had to mention this is a little honorable mention here, but you got death by tuna sandwich. This one guy who he's like coming back to help with the reality show. I'll get into that later, but yeah, like the whole premise of the movie is like they're doing this reality show at the camp with these like problem youths. They're not kids, but they're like, young. They're like in their 20s and stuff. But yeah, this guy goes to like some little corner store, gets a tuna sandwich, and it's poisoned, and he's just like, he's just like really selling it. He's just like squirming around after. But I mean, you gotta mention a tuna sandwich kill. I mean, what other movie has a tuna sandwich kill? That's a rough way to go. You're trying to enjoy a nice tuna sandwich, and then next thing you know, like it's over. That's your last tuna sandwich. That's like not the best last meal. Like, if they're like, you can, do you want, like, if you can have one last meal, like would you pick a tuna sandwich? I personally would probably pick anything besides a tuna sandwich. Nothing wrong with tuna sandwiches, but like I wouldn't want that to be like the last thing I eat ever. But like corner store, little country type little corner store tuna sandwiches, low key slap because there's this little spot like a couple hours up north that I go to, and it's like on the way there, like right before you get there, there's this like big gas station. It's like a convenience store too, and it's like crazy. Like so, it's like kind of like out in the country, and like half of the gas station is like a gun and ammo store. So like, cause like we'll sometimes like go like shooting there, cause there's like a shooting pit. Like we just do like there's like hiking trails and stuff, but we usually like bring some firearms and stuff and do some like target shooting or whatever. And yeah, so it's like this gas station, and half the store is like a gun and ammo store, and then like it's a regular like gas station convenience store, and then they have this like little deli, and they have like the best tuna sandwiches ever. So like I totally feel this guy going to his like little country local corner store picking up a tuna sandwich, because those little like up north little like small little convenience stores, they have like some of the most underrated food. Like I know usually gas station food or convenience store food is like gross and it's like a big like no, but like if you're going to some like country town like out in like a rural area and you hit a gas station or convenience store and they're making like fresh sandwiches, you got to buy them up, because it's going to be like the dankest sandwich you ever had. So I don't know. I like to like talk about little personal stories on here, so I was just thinking like, I mean, I kind of feel them on that. Like even though I don't rock with tuna sandwiches that hard, like whenever I go up north, you best believe I'm gonna get one of those at the little gas station convenience store. But after getting off topic there for 50 minutes, let me get back to the actual movie. So I kind of touched on this, but the whole premise is, you got these problem youths. It's a reality show, and it's like it's supposed to be like there's a killer on the grounds, but they don't. Of course, they're not really supposed to get killed. It's like they get like tapped on the shoulder or something, and then they're eliminated, and all like while they're trying not to be killed by some fake killer who's not really going to kill them, but for the purposes of the reality show, like all while they're trying to do that, they're also doing like little like challenges and activities. So like it's like a normal reality show, and there's like hidden cameras everywhere. They can't access. There's like no cell service, no Wi-Fi, nothing, and they're filmed in their beds. It's almost like Big Brother, or I don't know if any of you all know this, but like Fish Tank with Jet Neptune and Sam Hyde. That's like a recent reality show. It was like an internet reality show that's kind of similar to this, where it's like not necessarily scripted. It's just these like group of young people being filmed all the time, but then they do like some planned challenges. But I don't want to get like too much into spoilers, but they're like with the reality TV angle, there were like some reveals and twists that happened later on that I really really liked. I thought they were pretty well done, and when I first saw this movie, I didn't see them coming, and I thought they were pretty clever. And I like the whole reality TV concept. Some people might hate it. Some people hate reality TV. I don't really watch a lot of reality TV. I mostly like fictional programs, like even with like books. Like I'm just more into fictional stuff. Like I don't like stuff that's like too close to reality. It's just not as entertaining for me. But I mean, I like some reality shows like that I'll watch like when they're on. Like, I don't hate on reality TV. Some people just completely despise it, but I think it's cool, and I think it was a unique premise for this movie because it's like a lot of these summer camp slasher movies that come out in like the 2010s or 2020s. They're like trying to be like an 80s homage, and they're not doing anything different. It's just like some kids at summer camp, but it's like 2020, and it's like we're just making an 80s movie, but it's not the 80s, so it doesn't feel the same. This, I feel like, had like a unique premise, and it made sense because it's like with all the hidden cameras and the technology not working, it's like a nice modern take on, you know, a traditional summer camp slasher. So I thought the premise was super unique. I personally liked the reality TV angle. And, you know, speaking of summer camp, I don't even know if I was speaking of summer camp, but I kind of was. But who knows? But anyways, the actual setting, like, I like the camp that they filmed at. It really felt like summer camp, like all like the cabins, and then, you know, like there was, you know, they had like the little lake and the little dock, and there was like this like meeting hall, like this like wooded meeting hall, and then they were having like a campfire one night, and it was like, you know, like a very wooded area. It just the setting was awesome. It really, I mean, they filmed at a real camp. It really felt like camp, even though they weren't kids, they were older. I mean, what summer camp slasher movie actually has kids besides like, I mean, Sleepaway, all the Sleepaway Camp movies do. Well, I guess in part 3 it's mostly like teenagers, but that counts. But I mean, the only Friday the 13th that has kids is what, part 6. So, I mean, this doesn't have kids, whatever. None of them do. But anyways, it's got a good summer camp setting. I really like it. I totally forgot to talk about this, but yeah, basically, in addition to the reality TV angle, like the reason for the reality TV angle is because there's this, like, one of the main characters is this washed up horror director. He did these horror films, like these fictional horror films in the 80s called the Summer Camp movies, and Felissa Rose was the star of the first one. So it's like, it's pretty much, they're supposed to be Sleepaway Camp. It's like an homage to Sleepaway Camp. But anyways, like his career's not going so well. There was some stuff with like safety issues, so he got totally blacklisted. So he's trying to do this summer camp reality show to revive his career. And I like that like they actually had like an homage to Sleepaway Camp with like the summer camp movies, and then they're talking about like, you know, Felissa Rose's character was like the main character, and they had like a little cover art for it. So I definitely thought that was super cool. And something that was also kind of cool was there's this one guy that came in, the guy who got killed by the tuna sandwich. He came in and he was like, he had worked on the films in the past, and he left due to like safety issues on set. And it was like this one chick in freezing water, and he's like, you gotta get her out of the water, she's freezing. And I thought that was probably an homage to Friday the 13th, the final chapter, like when that girl was in the raft, the girl from Weird Science. Like, what I've heard is that like when they were filming it, she like was like freezing, and she either like almost got hypothermia or she did get hypothermia. And then like Ted White, who played Jason in that, he was just like yelling at the director. He's like, you gotta get her out of here, like this isn't safe, like you can't do this girl is gonna freeze. So I thought that was probably like a direct homage to that. So you got homages to Sleepaway Camp, homages to Friday the 13th. I love it. I mean, it's, the whole movie is like pretty much an 80s homage, so I love that type of stuff. I feel like it does it in like a respectful way. Some of these like newer like slasher movies, they try to like kind of like make fun of the 80s movies, which is fine a little bit, but like you got to do it like tastefully. Like, don't just totally like rip on the old movies, because a lot of people like that era of horror movies, you know. All right, let me move on here. Okay, getting into some negatives here. Um, One thing about this movie that you gotta know going in is like it is one of those newer, lower budget movies, and something about those movies is the camera quality. It's like it looks cheap, you know, like because it's not like they're filmed on film. They're filmed on like digital, and of course they probably had like a $20,000 camera or something. But like these lower budget horror movies, it looks like they were just filmed on like a digital camera, which like is a little jarring at first. Like the first time I watched this movie, like the first 5 or 10 minutes, I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. Like this looks just has like a really cheap look to it. But after like initially realizing that and like watching it for like 5 minutes, you get over it, and it's like I said, I enjoy the movie, so like I can look past it. But like even like the opening like credits and title, they're like it looks like something that was made on like I don't know like Premiere Pro or something. Like anyone was just like messing around with like an editing software. Like the title the title and the opening credits did look pretty cheap, but like I said, I mean, I respect the filmmakers. They went hard. I just I gotta give a couple criticisms, you know, but that didn't really like affect my enjoyment of the movie. And then another negative is like some of the dialogue was like a little bit try hard, and some of it was like kind of weird and like cringe, and some of the like jokes just like really fell flat. Like I like raunchy type humor, but I don't know. Maybe it was like the way the actors delivered it, but like it didn't it didn't really do it for me, you know. And another thing was like the acting was not the best. There was like a lot of overacting, like the one guy when he died by the hands of the tuna sandwich, or like the one guy, like the muscly guy who's like kind of an a-hole the whole time. He was always like trying to act so like hard and evil, and he's like, I would kill everyone here. Like it was like a little bit over the top, but it's a low budget slasher movie. I mean, even the older ones, even the 80s ones, didn't have the best acting or dialogue. It's a slasher movie. I mean, it's par for the course. It's not going to be a Steven Spielberg movie. You know what I mean? But I felt like it was fine. I like the characters were likable enough. But those were just my couple little negatives. And then I pretty much touched on everything that I wanted to talk about. I'm just going to talk about one last little note that I have, and then I'm going to wrap things up. So, another thing that I liked about this movie is that the goth chick, she was like a hardcore horror fan, and she like when Felissa Rose came through, like she's like, oh my god, we get to meet so like I forgot what her character's name was, but we get to meet like so and so. Like she was so hyped up, and she like knew everything about horror movies, and she knew about like the summer camp movies, and she was like just like reciting all these facts from the movies, and she was like, well, in part two and well in part three, and she was like just like a total like horror nerd. Like I in these type of movies that are like an 80s homage, I like when they have that character where it's like the fan character, because I can relate to that, and I think it's fun. So I just thought like for like a last little honorable mention, I like that goth chick was like a hardcore horror fan. That was a fun little element. But yeah, I pretty much talked about everything I wanted to talk about, so I'm going to wrap things up here. Like I said earlier, overall I think this is a pretty darn fun and enjoyable movie. I think it's a great summer watch, and you know, if you're a horror fan, if you're a fan of Danielle Harris or Felissa Rose, I think you should 100% check this out. So, with that being said, I'm going to wrap things up here. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.